Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go easy, easy on our tiptoes.
afternoon all. Hope everybody's well. Thank you very much for coming over and joining us, myself and my lovely wife Nikki.
Hello.
She's always there, reliable as ever. So last week we left it where we'd turned the outside of the horse chestnut bowl, resin and horse chestnut. So this week we're going to try and get it finished. Whether we will or not, I'm not sure, because there's quite a lot of resin to hog out of there. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll see what happens. So as you may have seen from the video that kept looping at the beginning, the raffle tickets are now for sale for the makers auction. So if you would like a raffle ticket, the way to do it is to go to the GoFundMe, pay your £2 per ticket, and then add in the description which raffle you would like to be entered into. There are 4 raffles to choose from. A lovely bowl from Colin Woodwardry Wood what's the word?
Wizardry.
Wood Wizardry by Colin. Barry Oak, a nice little pot that he made. There's a toolbox been donated by Shadowfoam. Obviously, you don't get no tools in it, but it will be kitted out with Shadowfoam, so you can cut your tools into it. And it's exactly the same replica toolbox they did for Ed China a little while ago. And then I have added I thought I'd better add something. I have added a complete buddy range, so that would be buddy holder, chuck buddy at your choice, or Freddy your choice, jaw holder, faceplate holder, Morse Taper 2 holder, small tool holder, chuck key holder, and yeah, we'll see what. Right, okay, Colin. Well, you have to message me. It's too late now, Colin. That's up and then gone.
What's the
So
matter?
Colin said the bowl size is wrong, but I just put in
Mhm.
what Colin put. So anyway, so that is what's up for grabs. And like I say, raffle tickets £2 each, all through to GoFundMe. All you need to do is pay your £2 for the ticket, and then just put in the raffle number at the end of it. But if Colin can put in the right size for the bowl, everybody will know. Question: do any of the raffle options have international shipping? No shipping is on anything, Susie. Shipping will have to be paid extra at the end of it. Depending on the person who's donated it, some people are going to cover cost of shipping. Other people are going to you're going to have to pay for shipping. A lot of some of the makers have said they'll cover UK shipping, but international shipping, the buyer will have to pay half. Some have said that no matter where it's going, the buyer will have to pay all the shipping, and then some people have said they'll ship it anywhere. So I can't go through the list of which is which because I can't remember. But a lot of people, if you say you've got to pay for shipping on top, then you know where you're going. But with the raffle, that does not include shipping. Obviously, you're paying £2 for a ticket, then it'll be down to whoever wins the raffle prize and the person who donated the prize to arrange shipping. That's down between the maker and the person who wins the prize. Same as it is with the auction. That's down to the person who wins the auction and the maker to sort out shipping. That's nothing to do with the auction, because we don't want to be taking money out of the auction funds to pay for shipping. That's not the idea of the process. The idea is we can make as much money as we can for the auction or for the charity we're doing it for. So, right. So Jimbo's on. Hi, Jimbo. Right. So I'm going to go to the lathe. I'll just quickly turn these on and show you guys as far as we got last week. So this is as far as we got the outside turned. This is on a spigot or a tenon, whatever you want to call it. So this week the idea is to hollow out the inside of it and get a nice shape on the inside. I'm not going to go major thin, perhaps leave it 3/4 of an inch thick on the outside. So perhaps leave it about 3/4 of an inch, and then we've done that slight return on the wall of the bowl. So we're going to try and follow that around, but we will see how we go. This resin is going to get, because it's been left for 3 weeks now, it's going to be pretty hard, I would imagine. So while I'm getting ready, Nick will welcome you all in. Unless she's don't keep sniffing.
Hello, everybody. Also, it's sniffly.
We'll get a tissue and blow your nose in.
So we have. I'm just going to go from what's on the screen. I think Wizardry by Colin was in first. We've got Pete from Twisted Trees, Dr. Bob, Norman Greenwell. We have Gary Glass. We have Eric Winkler. Chris Dodds, Roy's the Boy, Dara. We have Brian Lovins, Rex B, Amy, Copper R wood turning. Roger Kent. Paul Heighton, the Greasby Turner. Susie Swiss wood turner. Wivey Woodshed. Steve Hale. Leroy 500. Jimbo's on, hi Jim. William Kenny, Michael McEwen. Christina Michael Hesseltine. I think I've mentioned everybody. Oh, Kim Dickerson. Got some people that come on and had to go.
Yeah.
They'll catch later. Terry, TJ Turnan.
Terry.
Like I say, if I miss anyone, just put it in the bottom and I'll give you a shout out.
So it's just going to be a case of gently nibbling. I've got to stop talking and turn them. Keep getting out. Nibbling this out. Hopefully once we get to the wood, we should be okay. So hopefully, get this turned. Ready for hashtag week next week. So with resin, obviously speed is your friend. The faster.
Turning by Barry's on.
Hi Barry, how you doing? Happy birthday for the other day, Barry. Oh no, that's the wrong Barry. That was Barry Wood Creating. So with resin, as I was saying,
Just a minute, Wesley Hannah's on as well. I missed him. Sorry.
Hi Wesley. So speed is your friend with resin, but because it's resin and wood burr, there's going to be a little bit of balance. So you've got to be careful with it.
Susie said, "Is Brian not in the chat? He's missing the mess." Perhaps he couldn't take it.
I think Brian might be meeting up with Glyn and Joe. So I really should use a bigger bowl gouge, might be a bit better. Well, if I go to a 1/2 inch bowl gouge, see if that makes any difference.
Rex B said, "What is hashtag week doing?"
We don't know yet, Rex. We've not got that next week. We will announce it next week.
Michael McEwen said, "I've got a bit of an echo." A tiny one. That's
There you
because I
go.
keep repeating myself. Boom, boom.
Oh, wrong button. No, wrong button again. Get the right one of them in a minute. Try that. Is that any better? That should be better now.
Is that better now? Yeah, Rex just said the same. And Roy said my sound's not right either. Does it sound better now? He does it on purpose, I'm sure he does. To make sure you're all listening, that's what it is.
Believe me, nobody wants two of you.
You can only cope with one, can't you, mate?
Yep. So we're going to get some chipping out with this until we get down to our rough shape. But once we get down to our rough shape, we can then start refining. We can then start refining.
Steve Hale put a thumbs up. Yep, they said sounds better.
resin is evil on the hands. It's chipping, just smacking you in the hand all the time. If you can get nice ribbons like that, then happy days. What I'm going to do,
What he's going to do.
to make it a little bit easier.
What he's going to do.
Oh, who's this? Robert? You read that comment from Robert?
Sorry.
You need to keep an eye on the chat, love.
I am.
Get off your phone.
Shut up. So we've got Robert Bortwood on. Hi Steve, saw your demo at Ely a few weeks ago. Great demo. I've forgotten the order of how to proceed after you applied the colour. Could you please remind me? Thanks.
I'm trying to think what I did at Ely. I think I did a colouring piece.
Well, that's what you just said.
Yeah, I know, but I'm thinking.
Forgotten the order how to proceed. Can you remember what he did, Robert?
Can you tell me what I think it was? Hang on.
He did that many that time.
I've done 4 this month and I've forgotten. I think that's this piece here. Let me just bring it on the screen and we'll see if that's this piece. If it's this piece, then I'll tell you the process. Which one am I going to? This one here. Was it this one, Robert? Was it that one with the plum on the edge? Bit of plum blue with gold embellishing wax. If it was that one, I'm thinking it was that one. Then we'll know what we're doing. I'm sure it was that one. Right, so I've moved the headstock around a little bit on the lathe just so I can get to it a little bit easier.
Okay, right, quickly. Boys the Boy said it's snowing resin, woodwork learners on. Rex has got a question as well. How do you keep the resin from being in your face using EWT?
You blow, Rex, as you turn that. When you're with a bowl gouge, you can use a flute to point it away from you. It's a bit easier on the inside. On the outside, you can't really do a lot of it because you're pushing it that way and it's going to be blowing in your face. But when you're doing it with this, you can move the flute around just a little bit just to push it away from you.
AGK Woodworks is on.
Hi, mate.
And Benjamin.
Hi, Ben.
Dara said use carbides on it.
Yeah, you can do, but you can use traditionals. You're still going to get strings come off of it, whatever you use. So.
Robert said yes, it was that bit.
Right, okay. So the process is after you've coloured it. Once you've coloured it and all the colours are dry and you're happy with the colour, you then sand and seal it well. So if you want the colours to blend, together, then you can use a sand and sealer on a cloth. If you do not wish the colours to blend, you can use a spray sand and sealer. I believe I used a spray sand and sealer that night. So once you've sealed it really, really well, and you need to, if it's depending on the piece of wood you're using, if it's really thirsty, then you might have to give it 4 or 5 coats of sand and sealer. Light thin coats are more preferable than heavy thick coats. So if you put it on too thick, you'll end up with streaky bits in it. So when you put your embellishing wax on it, it's just going to enhance all the streaks, which you don't want to be doing. So once you've sealed it, burnish it off with a piece of Scotch Brite or some shavings, whatever you prefer. And then you can then put on your embellishing wax.
Hope that helps you, Robert. Rex B said that's a gorgeous plum bowl, Steve.
Thank you very much, Rex. Hopefully that will be Rex.
I think you meant the one you showed on, is that, or was this one?
Oh, right, that one, yeah. That was the one I did on the demo. So we're just going to try and take some of this middle out of this. Whoops. Not like that, we're not. So just remember when you're going this way with a bowl gouge, I've got a mouthful of wood. You don't catch your wing, because if you catch your wing, you're going to get a nasty catch. So you're quite safe to gradually nibble it out, as long as you don't catch that wing. If you catch that wing, it's just going to snatch it. So once you get close to your wall, you can then start going the other way.
Woodwork Learner said, what is the messiest and hardest resin to clean up? Also, can you send Brian some?
Polyester resin is the hardest, I'd say. Especially with the longer you leave it, the harder it gets. So
Dr. Bob said, eye protection when turning is very
definitely,
important. Last
definitely.
week, while I was getting my annual eye examination, the doctor told me about a fellow vet that had to have surgery to remove a resin chip from his eye.
Whenever you use anything in the workshop, whether it be a press drill, anything, you should always think about ear protection and eye protection. You only get one pair of each.
Robert said, thanks, Steve. That's great. Yes, you spray it. Rex B said, I use EWT, Easy Wood Tools, and still get ribbons in my face. Maybe because my left arm hips can't control it. Right arm doesn't work.
It's possible. If I use a carbide, I always use a carbide. If you use a negative rake, it don't really make a lot of difference. But if I'm using a carbide, I always use my carbide, so I'm holding them at that angle. So you're only using, if you hold it that way, you can get a grab. But when you do, if it's already when you're doing that, you can hog it out. But if I'm doing down the side, I'll put it at a slight angle and it acts as a negative rake.
Benjamin said there was a video the other day on Facebook wood turning group of someone turning without an eye protection. Some people have no sense.
Some people are stupid. At the end of the day, you only get one pair of eyes. The only disadvantage with turning resin is when you get splinters off, when you get shards off of it, that stings the hand. So you see a lot of resin turners wear gloves, which I know you shouldn't really do, but it's on this hand, so I don't know whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, but the resin is sharp, that's the trouble.
Oh, what am I doing?
I'm glad this bit of wood is harder than I thought it was going to be.
Dara said, heck, I can't see without my glasses, so I have protection on all the time unless I'm sleeping. Same as me, Dara.
I'm getting to that stage. Once we're through the resin, I will sharpen the gouge up for the wood, so we get a nice cut through the wood. But while we're going through both at the moment, Resin does knock the edge off your tool really quick though. That's the only disadvantage. All right, see if we can get a bit of shape on this now.
Roy says he wears a face shield over his glasses.
Yeah, you
Woodwork
can.
learner said my eyes are so bad I have to put glasses on to see what I'm dreaming.
The only trouble, I always, normally if I'm in the workshop, I only wear a face mask, respirator mask. But when you're on with these Jabra headsets, the earpieces are in the way when you, so it's hard to wear. Hard to wear an air shield while you're using a headset. I know some makers use the foam systems.
Gary said eye protection when turning is one thing, but on a recent motorcycle ride out, some clown turned up on his bike wearing flip-flops and shorts. We cringe, don't we, when we see him like that?
Yeah, bloody idiot. Should be illegal. You should be, by law, I think you should have to wear leathers.
Dara said I've been in progressive for 4 years now and haven't even made 50 yet. Chris Dodd said he had prescription safety glasses, expensive but worth it.
Yep.
The
intro was prescription safety glasses. You have to be careful which safety glasses you have, because if you have the wraparound ones, they actually distort your work. So you have to be a little bit careful. I'm actually going to use a carbide in there. What do you reckon, guys?
Paul Finley would turn at home's on.
Hi, Paul.
And Roy's got a question. He said, what air shield do you have, Steve?
I have the Trend, mate.
Trend or Trent?
Trend. It's actually turned out better than I expected it to be, actually. We just want that nice little bit thick on that curve there, so we just need to take a little bit out of that.
I'm just going to ring case, just bear with me a sec.
We're just going to try and take a little bit out of this side, because it's a little bit thick in there. That is really nice. That's going to come out really, really nice. So, just going to get the negative reg scraper and see if we can just get rid of some of those little chips. The only trouble with the carbide is they're a little bit aggressive and can cause a few chips.
Right. David J. Heathgill for Carpenters on.
Right, David.
Roy said he's now got the Trend one.
Good to shield. The only thing I don't like about it, it's a bit heavy on the back, on the top heavy.
Amy said they now got an advertising campaign about the exact thing, about people wearing shorts and trousers.
Easy way to stop it is make it illegal to ride a motorbike without proper trousers and proper footwear.
Gary said even if he's just popped them to the shop, he puts all his gear on.
Yep.
Doug Miller would spin arounds on.
Hi, Doug, how you doing?
Boys just asked Terry how the workshop's coming along.
Slow.
That's the workman, though, that is.
Yeah. I did tell Jay to pull his finger out.
Brian's on.
Hi, Brian. How you doing?
You know why he's been crying? Because of the mess. He had to wipe his tears and compose himself. Woodwork learner wearing shorts and no gloves used to be regular room when I used to bike. We couldn't afford leathers at the time, so wore what we could. Roy said he's now got used to it, the helmet thing.
Yeah, once your neck builds up, you're all right. It just makes your neck ache for a little bit until you get used to it.
Terry said he's given the new walls a coat of paint today.
Good man. So just check that thickness.
Colin said, good on you, Gary. I can't believe they haven't made it law yet. Would help save lives and reduce the strain on the NHS too, right? Pen put hi, Brian. I'll keep my message short so it don't affect your broadband. Don't jinx him.
So just going to round over the edge.
Woodwork learner said, Terry, your workshop would be done quicker if Steve wasn't doing a live today.
All over my face.
Terry said, that's what I said. Dr. Bob said he's had his prescription put into one of his face masks. The manufacturer does it mostly for industrial protection workers. That's a good idea, isn't it?
That is a good idea. So when you're using a carbide, nice light passes, because if that digs in, that will make a right mess.
Robert said he remembers when the time before even helmets become law.
I'm not that old. So I think we might have the... That's actually in fairly good shape, that is.
He said he's late because Glenn and Joe came for a flying visit on their way to tour the Mourners Mountains.
All right. Not a problem, Brian. Not a problem. Oops. Just take a little bit out of the bottom there. That's better. Got a nice curve in there now, rather than a bit of a flat in the bottom. So I'm just going to flatten this front edge off this piece here, and then we will be ready to sand it up a little bit, I think. So again, I'm going to round this edge off. So just nice slow cuts.
Stop eating it. You said you was hungry. You should have had a biscuit.
Keeps firing in my face. Blooming old resin. Right, so we've just got a nice rounded edge on there. As you can see, bring that back so you can see it. They've just got a nice little rounded edge on there, flat with a little bit of a curve on each side. Got a few little chatter lines in there, which I'm hoping we can get Ooh, excuse me, get out with a bit of sand in. Oh, excuse me. Just have a swig of my coffee because I've got a mouth like a cesspit.
Ben said you could sell those resin shavings as spiderweb material during Halloween.
I'll tell you what, Ben, send me your address. I'll send them to you with the witch. Right, let's power sand this. Extractor on. Lay down low. Not that low,
I
low,
do
Steve.
like that. The inside of that bowl's nice.
If you're good to me, I
Oh,
might
it's
leave.
Colin's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday for tomorrow, Colin.
Happy birthday, Colin.
Only because Amy said how many people remember like being told that they was brought home in a basket on the back seat of the car.
Better than being delivered by a stork.
Colin said he's 60 tomorrow. He can't remember that far back. Ben said, how much resin material do you think this bowl costs? No, most of it's on the floor.
Yeah, that's the only trouble, isn't it? You cast it and then you throw most of it away. I put 2.1 kilos of resin when I cast it. So whatever that costs in money. I mean, lucky enough, the bit of wood was given to me by Pete, so.
Wesley Hannah said, looking good so far, Steve. Have to run now. Got to hit the road to TX. Moving my uncle back to
Thank you very much for coming
Theo.
over.
Catch the rest later.
Have a good day.
Dr. Bob said, perfect picture for a winter holiday greetings card, turning resin.
Yeah.
Woodwork Learner said about 50 quid then.
No, maybe not that. Depends what resin you use. The resin I use is, I can't remember what it is. I think it's £70 for 6 kilos. No, £86 for 6 kilos. So just make sure we got rid of those chatter lines. Let's remove up a grit. Hopefully it's a really pop once we get the sand and seed on it. Just gradually climb up the grits.
Brian said he's getting full fibre to the house on the 4th of October.
Is that Brian?
Yep. Rick said, I'm sorry, what's the wood type in the bowl, please?
Piece of horse chestnut. The piece that Pete gave me when he came up for my birthday.
Brian said, parcel arrived. Yes, Steve. The blank is perfect, buddy. Thank you so much.
Right, no problem. Mate. Right, last one, 400 grit. Whoops. So that's up to 400 grit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have to seal the wood. Obviously you wouldn't seal resin. Oops, not that one. That's not sand and sealer. But because we've got wood in it, we need to seal that timber. So give it a little bit of a squirt. Oh, look at that. Really. Make sure we seal it nice. That's a pretty bit of wood. So hopefully once we get this shiny, you'll be able to see the contrast between the inner and the outer, and then the colours we put on the on the top of the burl, whatever you want to call it, depending where you come from, to make it look nice.
Woodwork Learner said, looks really interesting in that bowl, Steve. Amy said, looks amazing, Steve.
Thank you.
Wood turning by Barry's on.
Hi Barry, happy birthday for the other day. oh no, you said no, it's Barry's Wood Creations.
Oh, make your mind up.
I'm getting confused. I'm getting old.
Wood Rizzy by Colin said, wow, that pops. Susie said, very beautiful. William Kenny said, wow, that looks great.
Thank you.
Nick Castle's on, he said, what is the extraction mouth size, please, and how is it fitted?
The extraction mouth size is 240 millimeters by 100 millimeters, and it's actually mounted on a monitor bracket. I will turn the camera and show. I'll wipe the camera, turn the camera and show you. There you go. Look, it's on a monitor bracket. So it's on a adjustable monitor bracket, which is clamped to the lathe legs, or the base of the lathe, and then the 4-inch extractor is cable tied to that, so it flexes with the bracket. There you go, just like that. Right, so sand and sealer, going to denib that. And then we're going to give it another coat of sand and sealer. Just make sure it's sealed well. Another coat of sand and sealer. Making sure we get in all those crevices. Because being a burr, there's going to be a few nasty little crevices in there. So we're going to make sure we get all into those crevices.
Benjamin said, has the vase warped at all, Steve?
No, it hasn't been. I'm really surprised. It's the only thing I can see on it, what's happened, is around the neck here. There's a couple of little tiny cracks appearing. That's the only thing I can see this altered on it. But hopefully, I'll get that turned out in the week, and hopefully that'll look okay.
Dr. Bob's got a question. He said, for Steve, what and why started you into becoming an international known wood turning artist?
I would go as far as say international, and I wouldn't say artist. Colour slappist. Right. The reason I started becoming a wood turner, I've only been a wood turner for I can't remember, 3.5 years, something like that. The reason I started was because I was in a bit of a dark place, and my granddad used to be a wood turner, and unfortunately, when we cleared my nan and gran's house out, I sold my granddad's wood lathe because I didn't have the space to put it anywhere. So I got rid of it, and then I said to Nick one day, I would really like to have a go at wood turning. So I bought a cheap lathe, and I mean a cheap lathe, £200 a lathe was. No, it wasn't even that, 150 quid. No, 120 quid. A lumberjack lathe, and I bought it. Nick bought me the chuck and a set of tools for Christmas, and I played with it for. He was a good boy that year. I played with it for about 3 months, and I got a little bit frustrated with it because every time you turned a piece and turned it, you have to re-true it up because the lathe was so untrue. It was just not true. So you'd have to spend more time truing it all up and this, that, and the other. So I said to Nick about it. Oh, I'm getting frustrated with it. And she said, why don't you buy a better lathe? Which is what I've got now. So that's what I did. So I played around with this lathe, and my daughter said to me, oh, Dad, I bet you daren't put a video on YouTube. And I was like, okay, I'll take that challenge. Thinking I'd only ever put 1 or 2 videos up. Which was because I only ever used to do a lot of resin work, which was my pine cone bowl, the first bowl I ever turned on, well, first video I ever did for YouTube. It had some pine cones. I made a few mistakes with it. I put the pine cones too far on the outside edge, so when I turned away, you only end up with little bits left. So there's a few mistakes on it, but it was my first video, and I got some really good people commenting and telling me, giving me some advice and this, that, and the other. And I thought, oh no, I'll do another one. And 3.5, 4 years later, here we are. As for colouring, I was really against colouring. I never thought that I would. My attitude was, why would you want to colour a beautiful piece of wood and cover it all up? But spending a bit of time with Martin, Maker Central one year, opened my eyes, and we're not actually covering the piece of wood. We're just enhancing it. We're just making that natural feature look a little bit different, and bringing out the grains and the patterns and this, that, and the other. So it totally changed my view on colouring, and I've been very lucky that I've had a lot of support from Martin and other people like Stuart Farini and other people who do colouring, and they've all pointed me in the right direction. So I've been very lucky to have people on hand to help me out where and when possible. And I really do like the colouring. I really do. And it's like I say, you're not actually, ouch, that's hot. You're not actually covering the wood, you're enhancing it, which is, like I say, totally different to what I ever thought. But as for international colourist, yeah, I don't know if you're taking the mick there, Dr. Bob.
No, listen, Amy's rightfully said, I'd say international. You've got people from, we have Swiss, American, and Australian here right now. Gary said, and Scottish. Dr. Bob said Europe, North America, Australia. No, wood turn and artisan, and Canadian.
Well, we'll see what the future holds.
Pendulum for and Nikki has regretted suggesting a better lathe ever since. A joke. No, I haven't, because he stays out there. He's out of my way. Barry by Wood Turner by Barry said no, Steve. It was $12.99.
The lumberjack lathe was a good lathe, but the price. Oh, here they all come again. We had all these in Friday night.
Oh, just see. I'm sorry. I was just trying to.
It was a good lathe. It's just, it is what it is. It's a cheap lathe. It was just, it was frustrating. It was nothing worse than you turn a piece, you think, oh yeah, that look, and then you got to try and get rid of it, and it's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy.
So
Yeah,
I'm
we do apologise, guys. They came in Friday night as well. I don't know why they keep coming in. All we can do is report them to YouTube. Right, so that's with the Yorkshire Grit Original. So we're going to put a coat of microfine on it now.
Woodwork Learner said just planning to do a pine cone bowl, Steve. You did one as well, didn't you?
Yeah, that was my first project I ever
Oh,
did.
the bowl, yeah, not the pine cone in the resin.
That was pine cone, isn't it?
No, you also did a pine cone in resin.
Oh yeah, in an egg shape I did a pine cone.
What was the boy said? And the Cockney.
And a coffee.
Wayne at Acorn Wood Turners on. He said and France.
I didn't realise they was all from all
Irish and French too.
Thank you.
Have you ever had that gentleman before, Wayne?
Sorry?
Wayne at Acorn Wood Turning.
No, I haven't. Welcome.
No.
Thanks for coming over.
But Gary Glass said that bowl looks amazing. Leroy said the bowl is absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. You guys, I really do appreciate you. I mean, I keep saying it, and and I hope you guys really know that I do appreciate you all coming over every Sunday and watching me, and you're part of the family. Really, it's like a nice, happy little family in the workshop on a Friday night and a Sunday afternoon.
A lot of people have reported them. Brian said all over them like a rash buddy.
Good man, thank you, mate.
Dr. Bob said we cannot forget your hostess and the other half too. She needs to be recognised.
She's the better part of the relationship, mate. Believe me.
Benjamin said they're misinterpreting the hardwood reference. Mr. G's wood turnings on.
Good afternoon, Mr. G. Hope you're well. So this is the microfine. We'll see how far this brings us up with a shine, depending on what we do next. So this should bring us up to a nice sheen. This will take us up to about 2000 grit on our piece. So like I say, depending on how far you want to go, really, is depending on where the next stage will be. So we're just going to buff that off. So you now see the translucent on the resin. So you should be able to see the purples and the blues, well no, purples and reds, sorry, on what's left. So we're just going to blow some of that Yorkshire grit out of the...
Robert said, what time are you on Friday? It's Battle of the Makers, isn't it, this Friday?
Battle of the Makers. Yeah, my evening lives always start at 7:45. Most people start theirs at 8 o'clock, but I like to be different.
I was going to say you have to be different, don't you?
I like to be different.
Normal people would have it around.
Everybody has them on 8
easy to remember.
But I like to be different.
Don't I know it?
Right, so let's just buff that off. I've got all the Yorkshire grit out of the voids, so we're just going to buff that off. Yeah, it's Battle of the Makers this Friday.
Michael McEwen said Sunday is not the same without the Nikki and Steve show.
Thank you very much.
Been doing well, actually. Been going now 50 minutes and not one person has mentioned me not chopping carrots. So no veg prep today because my lovely husband is taking me out.
What time's he picking you up then?
I don't know. That's why I want you to hurry up.
Right, so I think what I'm going to do is...
Colin said, damn, that's stunning.
I'm just going to go over that with some burnishing cream, because if you look at the resin, you can just see a few little score marks in it.
Leroy said, "Wow." Michael McCrean said, he said Sunday's not the same without the Nikki and Steve show. And then he put, even if I have to be up at 5 a.m. to watch.
Oh, thank you. That's very much
Amy put
appreciated.
Steve is special, lol. Yeah, special needs.
Yeah, special needs. Yeah.
Especially hard work. That's another one as well.
Yeah, me.
I made him sweat the other day because I told him he's going to have to start cooking tea on a Tuesday night.
Takeaway night, Tuesday night is coming in fashion
Mm.
for me and Casey. It's going to be me and my daughter's bonding time. Tuesday night, takeaway night.
Yeah, right. You'll be lucky.
Well, she'll have
Yeah,
the
she'll
takeaway.
take away hers to her bedroom.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. So, chestnut products burnishing cream. Basically, it's like the old-fashioned tea cut, but it's really good for your resin. Just don't overheat it. If you overheat it, it'll just start grabbing. So make sure you keep your tissue nice and moist. And you just gently, don't apply no pressure. You don't need to use any pressure. Just gently rub it over. Keep moving your tissue, and that will gently cut that back to give you a nice glossy finish.
Woodwork Learner said, "Nikki, is he bringing you back too?"
So we had a deep discussion the other day, me and Nick. I've been wanting to go to Harrogate in November. She don't know where she wants to go. I think she should come. What do you guys think?
Oh, don't start that again.
I think you should come. I'll even take you. You ain't got to make your own way there. Right, so just gently buff that off now.
What do you mean, Roy? He put, "What happened to my lol message?"
So we're just going to gently buff that out, and then we can hopefully get some wax on it.
Benjamin said, "Steve, Chicago town pizza in the microwave and a splash of salad on the side. Job done."
Oh, forget the salad. Forget the salad.
Dara put, "Go, Nikki. I wish I could." Woodwork Learner said, "Go, Nikki. It'd be nice to meet you in person." Oh, you miss him much, believe you me. It's just obviously what home circumstances are like.
She'll be fine.
I always think of my children first.
So do I.
I've always
think of
no.
them
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's a you thing, and when it's a me thing, that's down to you to think of them. Like when I do my lessons I go to in the week, and I just need to make sure that, you know, if my big baby's in her house, then little baby might go there. But if she doesn't, then I just don't like the idea of her being in the house on her own
Well, she can come with us.
for a weekend. She contemplated that, but she weren't so keen at 17 want to share a bedroom with her mum and dad. And especially when her dad's nickname's Porky Pig.
Don't know what you mean.
And that's not because he eats a lot.
Right, so just a few little minor scratches in there. I'm just going to gently buff out. I really do like this burnishing cream. It's really, really good stuff. Just brings that little tiny, it's that little extra level to you.
Terry said, "Reese, go, why wouldn't Nikki? It's a free weekend."
Yeah, I said they could go shopping, Terry.
I want to make stuffs on. Roy said, "You should go, Nikki, and meet the YouTube family." Benjamin said, "If I go, I've got to take the rabbits." No, she's not Amy anymore. She now works for H&M, where she's got to go today, bless her heart, at 4 o'clock because they're doing a stock take. So, which she absolutely loves that job, don't she?
She does.
And the fact that she gets money off her clothes as well even helps even better, because she does certainly like to spend her money too, especially on clothes. Saves me.
hopefully.
Wivey Woodshed said 17, mum and dad away equals party.
She can't be bothered with that sort of thing.
Mr. G said, yes, you should go, Nikki, hoping to meet you and Steve.
Some tissue.
Oh, Dr. Bob said, next year you and your beautiful wife should cross the pond and attend the America Association of Woodturners Convention and spend a couple of months doing demos in North America.
Cool, that'd be a dream come true.
Woodwork Learner said, if you take the rabbits, make sure the pastry's nice and light. Scott Dunn's on.
Scott,
Said the resin's looking like glass.
Thank you. Hopefully we just got rid of those. We had a few little scratches within just where the resin meets the wood, which have now gone, which is what I wanted.
She doesn't, Benjamin, but we certainly turned up once to the certain named restaurant, and it looked like there was fat, didn't we, Steve, coming out of the drains?
Yes.
So, yeah, let's just say we haven't eaten it since, because the last one we had was awful. So, not our go-to takeaway, is it now?
And it doesn't just taste. It just don't taste the same when you don't get discount on it.
Idiot.
Right. So wax. I'm going to put my favourite wax on this, Hampshire Sheen High Gloss.
Woodwork Learner said, looking great, Steve. The bowl, I mean.
Oh, thought you meant me. Right, so bit of wax. Can put it on the resin as well, because it will just buff the resin up a little bit. So I'm going to do the inside and the outside, because I've put a bit of burnishing cream on the outside as well. So I'm going to re-wax the outside.
Who would have thought it would have took like 3 hours to do that? If that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, you've only been doing 2, but
well, you got the casting of it as well.
2.5.
Got the casting of it as well.
Oh yeah, no, but I meant I wouldn't have thought that would have been what you'd have been doing for the whole time on the live today.
I don't know. Well, it's gone
and this is
quicker
what I
than
mean.
thought, actually.
People don't always understand how much work goes into these things, and
No, they don't.
we were saying that like when we've done a couple of unsuccessful crafty fairs, didn't we?
Yep.
That
people just don't want to pay the money you're asking for a piece.
You just need the right crowd, and if you're in the right place at the right time, then you'll do well. But other than that,
just gently buff it off. So now you can see through that resin and see them absolutely awesome colours coming through it. Really cool. Let's see if we can get it on a tailstock picture.
Dara said, do you guys have a Popeyes there? No.
No, we don't. So you can see all the colours coming through the bottom of the bowl, which is quite smart. Which is really, really groovy. I must admit, this is the third time I've ever done a hybrid bowl. And this is the best looking one I've ever done, I will be honest.
Practice makes perfect.
Well, I reckon if I did another one, that'd be even better. Right, so let's take this out. Now we've got to take the spigot, tenon, whatever you want to call it, off the end. So we'll put that on over here out of the way so it don't get damaged. We'll get this chuck off. And then we'll put the cold jaws on, and no doubt they'll have to be altered, as they always do. I've never put them on twice yet, and they've been the right size. Get that one off there. Nasty.
Jappy Makes is on.
Jappy, how you doing, bud? Right.
Gary said no, Dara, but there's a few shabby restaurants would make your eyes pop. So Gary Glass said looks fantastic, Steve. Chris Dodd's very nice, Steve.
Thank you. Thank you.
Robert said, do you use a pressure pot for the resin?
Yes, that did go in a pressure pot. Yeah, I told you.
Leroy said, I'd never get rid of that bowl.
Sorry?
Leroy 500 said, I'd never get rid of that bowl. You probably won't. That'll probably end up in the house.
I'll sell it to you. Oh, it's going to be your Christmas present. But, yeah.
My birthday's first.
Yeah, I know, but that's a special bowl, so it deserves a special thing like Christmas. Right, so I'm going to move all these out by 2 hills. Hopefully, that'll be about right. Like I say, whenever I put this on, it never ever is in the right place. But never mind. That's the fun of wood turning, I suppose.
Mr. G's wood turner looks stunning, Steve. Well done.
Thank you.
Woodridge Rakan said that should be in the auction.
No, well, I don't know. I think, to be honest, I think this year we've got enough in the auction, because I think we don't want to be going for hours and hours and hours and hours, because people get fed up of it. But there again, you've got to be a fine line, because you don't want to offend people by saying no. So 16 pieces for the auction is quite enough, I believe. But you never know what happens on the night. We will see. It's not far away. It's only 3 weeks away, 4 weeks away. So we'll see what happens on the night. Hopefully everybody can make it over and join us for the night.
Norman Greenmill said, great job, Steve.
Thank you, Norman.
Dr. Bob said, my personal opinion is that your viewers keep coming from week after week, not only to watch you and learn, but a big part of the equation is Nikki and your international folks that religiously follow you.
Yeah, I must admit, I do feel honoured that a lot of you guys, whenever I do a live or whatever I do, it's not just me, all the other guys as well, Pete, Brian, Terry, I mean, all the other guys who do lives, you guys are always there, and we do really appreciate your continuous support. And like I said earlier, it's like a big family. I mean, even though I've never met any of you, well, not a lot of you guys in the chat, I feel that I know you, so it's nice, and I appreciate it, and we all appreciate it.
William Kenny said, our pressure pot's expensive.
If you buy a proper resin pot, they are expensive, but I bought, because I don't turn a lot of big stuff, I bought a pressure paint pot. When I bought it, which would have been 2 or 3 years ago, it was around about, what was it around about 100 quid, I think. I believe they're a lot more, they're a bit more money now, I believe. So we've got to be careful with this, because we've got that little bit where it's coming back over on its top. So where we're grabbing is just before it starts to curve. So we don't want it too tight, because we don't want to damage it.
Someone said they're 250 quid now.
Yeah, proper resin one will be. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the towel stock up to this, because we've got a dimple in the middle there. I'm going to bring the towel stock up to it to just give us a little bit more support, because I don't want it popping off after going this far with it. Oh, actually, big boy pike. I've got to line up a headstock first, haven't I? Because I moved the headstock. So let's take this back out. Put that back over there. Take that back off.
Oh, they're on again.
We had loads come in on Friday night as well. YouTube needs to buck their ideas up and sort it out, because it's getting a bit of a pain in the backside now. Right, so let's just line this back up because we moved these. Should be there.
Richard feelings on?
All right, Richard, how you doing, bud? Try again. Take 2. Right, so, bit of tissue in there just to protect the rim. I'll just gently wind this
Douglas
back.
Mungans on?
Right, Douglas, how you doing? So we don't want to do this too tight, but obviously tight enough for it not to pop out. So we're now going to bring our tailstock up, just a dot in the middle. Not too much pressure, just enough to hold it in place. So now we're just going to get a spindle gouge and gently take that out. Just bring it up so it's just below my center, like that. Make sure nothing contacts. Nice and slow. Just remember with cold jaws you shouldn't be running too fast. But we're now just going to gently nibble this away. And what I'm doing is I'm pushing into the piece all the time to try and reduce the it moving and pulling out. Just tighten up a little bit because that's not really driving. Like I say, nice and slow.
No carrots today, Douglas. Steve's taking me out.
He didn't say it. He said your husband was saying out.
Doug Miller said, this bowl is stunning, beautiful work. Sorry I have to go, but we'll finish the video later. Have a great day, everyone.
Not a problem, Doug. Enjoy your day.
Roy said you could have cut some carrots for tomorrow. They do need prepping, but I did buy some so the bunnies can have some.
Smart.
Dr. Bob said what you need is a double-ended Morris taper to do your alignment. They're cheap and there is no chance of misaligning when locking the tailstock.
No, that's true, but that's
Douglas said burger and chips, Nikki. Roy said, Nikki, where's he taking you? Not KFC, I hope.
what.
And Woodwork Learner said, Nikki, I didn't know there was a hot dog van near you. Wood Turner Barry said, take care, all. He's got to go.
See you later, Barry. So just gently take that, work that down to a fine nib, like that. It's just popped off. Now what we're going to do is
Terry
just gonna...
said side camera, Steve.
Oh, sorry, I thought I was on a side camera. See, this is my host. She's not really watching, is she?
Oh, I don't really know, do I, what you're doing?
There you go. Bit. That makes it worse. I'll take the elbow poker out before I poke my elbow.
Gary said, does anyone know anyone that specialises in resin wood blanks? The say a lot, I mean.
No, I don't.
Obviously, depends where you are.
Depends what you want as well. Right, so just gentle pushes on here now because we don't want the piece popping out. Really gentle. Really, this is where you really want a nice sharp tool. Just going to put a little bit of a curve in there, just so it sits on the edge of the line rather than sitting on the middle.
Apparently, Emma Tiny Turner sells key resin blanks. Jennifer does too.
Right, so sand it. I'm going to sand that up to 400 grit. Being a burr wood, you don't want to push on it too hard because you'll cause all funny shapes on it. So just quickly polish it, take that up to whatever. It's all down to how much you want to spend on one, because a good resin blank, or good blank with resin, is going to cost you 60 to 80 quid, I reckon, for a good size. Last one. So that is up to 400. Just put a little bit of sand and cedar on there.
Yeah, Douglas, that sounds better. Nice roast dinner. It's nice when someone else cooks it.
And just a little bit of wax, and I think we are there. Get a little bit of wax.
Not wicks.
A little bit of wax. Hampshire Sheen High Gloss. Just to buff that up. Just do that whole bottom, I think.
Adam, I love wood turnings on.
Hi, Adam. Hope you're well. Get a bit of cloth. Right, so final polish. Oops. So let's get it out the chuck. wrong way. Get rid of that. We don't
Rex
need
just
that.
said that's a great looking bowl, Steve. Is that going in the raffle too?
Who said that?
Rex.
No, it's not right.
Terry said they're having Chinese tonight. I mean, you're not
Oh,
cooking, Terry? Goodness me.
what time, Terry? I'll be there.
You said takeaway, but I don't fancy a takeaway.
Right. Hang on, my hands are all dusty, so every time I touch it, it's dust gone. I need cloth to wipe my hands. That's better. Right, let's get a bit of cloth and wipe that. My hands were covered in dust, and as soon as because it's got so much static to it, every time I touched it, I like that. I really do like that.
Colin
Very
said it
nice.
should go in the auction too.
So,
Brian said time for a nice cup of tea, methinks. The workshop's a bit cold. Yeah, I'm cold now. Ben said looks awesome, Steve. Does it have a pink tint to the resin, or is it just the
yes.
camera?
No, it has a little. I put a few drops of red in the resin when I poured the resin, so it does. It's got like a reddy tinge to it. Camera makes it look a brownie colour, but it actually does. It actually got a reddy tinge to it. So there we have it.
Woodwork Learner said you need some white gloves handy, Steve.
Yeah. So there we have it. Horse chestnut with resin. Like I said, I think it was 2.1 kilos of resin in it. And the thing is, like we said, you turn most of it away, but it's really nice. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick, which is what I wanted. I didn't want it too thin, and it's fairly equal all the way through. It may be a little bit thicker in the bottom, but to be honest, I didn't want to take too much of that burr. It's such a pretty bit of wood. These features here are really, really nice, really nice. So yeah, so there it is. Finished size was, let's measure it. External size 190, internal core. Look at that.
Woodwork Learner says really good looking bowl. Woodwork Con said stunning. Douglas Mungham said great bowl, Steve. Susie says lovely bowl. Terry said great piece and great live, Steve.
Thank you.
Uh,
Oh, I lied. It's only 15 mil on the
Adam,
watch,
I
not
love Woodton
19.
and cool bowl.
Thank you. It's nice. I like that. I'll get some better
Michael
pictures of it.
McEwen, awesome bowl, Steve. Very well done. Nick Castle, really nice bowl. Gary Glass, great job. Brian said, very nice, great guys. Robert Bortwood said, thanks, Steve, great demo. William Kenny said, looks savage, Steve, nicely done.
Thank you very much. Like I say, it's I've just measured the wall thing. It's 15 mil, but like I say, it's nice. It's nice. And what's the height of it? What's the?
Dr. Bob said, very good looking, and your teaching was very good. Chris Dodd said, you're getting good at this, Steve. I want to make stuff, says nice.
So the actual base is about 5 mil thicker than the walls. There's 20 mil difference between the bottom there and the top wall and the inside. So it's about 5 mil thicker in the bottom.
Benjamin said, ooh, what's the massive blank in the background?
Massive.
The one that's in here.
Where?
In here. In front of you.
Oh, on the floor. It's a piece of cherry, Ben, that I'm going to turn a bowl out of in my free time. It's going to be a bowl. Nice piece of cherry given to me by Chris Dickerson. So I turn a sink for somebody out of a piece, and I want to do a bowl. So I thought I'd do a nice traditional looking bowl out of it. So that's my plan. When I get chance, that is. When I get chance. Not enough hours in the day. That's the trouble. So right. So I think we're there. So nice little bowl, resin, hybrid. So it's taken us 3 weeks to get this far.
Donna Love Angel Artist is on.
Hi, Donna.
She said hello and lovely bowl.
Thank you.
Douglas said thank you for showing us how to do it. Gary said I was wondering that too. Looks beauty.
So like I say, first week was we cast it. Then last week we did all the bottom of it. And this week we finished it. I must be honest, I didn't think we'd get it finished. That turned out a lot better than I actually thought it was going to. So no, it turned out nice. Really, really nice. So thank you everybody for coming and joining us. Hope you've enjoyed the free time live. I'm now, over the next few months, I'm going to start doing more 2-part lives. The reason being is because I think it's more beneficial for you and me to see a longer process, because no disrespect, we can all knock out a bowl in an hour, but that's not the sort of thing we should be showing. what we should be showing is spend a bit more time, a bit more preparation, a bit more care, and coming out with a better piece. So personally, I'm going to start doing my lives. I'm not saying every single one's going to be a two-parter, but I'm going to go more into the two-parters. The reason being is I want to spend a bit more time, a little bit more thought, and a little bit specialer bowl than just the every knockout hour and a half bowl. I hope you guys agree. And like I say, this has taken us 3 weeks to do this, and I think it's stunning. This bit I turn Friday night will be a
David
two-parter.
Vaughan's on. He said,
Hi, David.
and Michael McEwen's on. He said, thank you, Steve and Nikki, for sharing your Sunday afternoon with us.
Oh, not a problem.
Mr. G said, don't you put a maker's mark on the bottom, Steve?
I,
Looks lovely.
I will, if I can get it under my laser, I will laser the bottom of that one, but I don't.
Wayne at Acorn said, cheers, Steve, lovely piece. William said, thanks, everyone, for a lovely afternoon. Woodward Learner said, thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a great time out, Nikki. Scott Dunn said, good plan, Steve.
So this is what we started Friday night. I will hollow this out during the week, and then we should be able to finish it next. Well, we won't be able to do it next Friday because obviously we're doing Battle of the Makers, but hopefully Sunday get that finished. Again, bit more time, more nicer looking piece. But no disrespect, I don't want to keep knocking out bowls in an hour and a half. And
a lot of people are saying, don't take me an hour to do a bowl. Some are saying 2 or 3 days.
well, the thing is, because we do so many on a live, we can turn a bowl like this in about an hour and a half. So how many of them can I show people how to do? So my plan is to make the special the piece a bit more special, go a bit more in depth into the technique, the colouring, and this that, and the other, and hopefully benefit you guys at the same time. That's the plan anyway. Whether that'll work or not, I'm not going to say that every single one is going to be a two-parter. There might be some projects that are more. There may be some projects that are just an hour. If I think that I could just do a basic bowl turn for somebody, or if someone says, can you just give us the basics, and that's what we'll do. But other than that, I want to go a bit more into quality products. Should we say quality products? No, that's not the right word, but something a bit more interesting. That's the word, interesting. So anyway, that's hopefully the way the channel's going to go, and the same with the videos. I've got 4 videos to edit, which will be short videos, but then the future videos will be 1 and 2 part videos, because obviously the process of it all a bit more in depth. So hopefully people learn a little bit more rather than just saying, oh yeah, another bowl, oh another goblet. A bit more interesting, learn a bit more techniques, learn a bit more colouring, this and the other. So Susie Swisswood turn a question. It would be very interesting to see you making the big cherry bowl on a live. I could do, Susie. That may, again, that wouldn't be a 1-parter. That would be a 2-parter, because obviously it would turn the outside on 1 week and then the inside on another week. Because when I did the sink, it took me nearly 6 hours to turn the sink. So, but we'll see. Right. So look at the mess. Look at the mess. So as always, raffle tickets for the makers. I know I keep on about it, but obviously if we don't keep on about it, then nobody's going to buy them. The makers auction raffle tickets are now for sale. I will play the short clip of the raffle bit, what was at the beginning of the live, at the end, so people who didn't catch it can have a look at it. Anybody who wants some raffle tickets, please go over and go to the GoFundMe and purchase them from there. £2 a ticket. Again, just remember to put your raffle number that you want the tickets for. If you want a ticket for each, £8, and we'll enter you into each quiz, or each raffle, sorry. If you only want a raffle ticket for a certain item, then just add the raffle number, and then we'll know, or Nick will know, not me, Nick will know on which raffle to enter you into. So, thank you, Colin. 40mm waste pipe, mate. That's all it is. Sprayed. It's nothing special. So anyway, thank you very much for coming over us. We will see you next Sunday. Possibly finishing off this vase, holoform, vessel, whatever you want to call it. And don't forget, next Friday is Battle of the Makers. Wayne and Huey pulled out of the bag last month. They pulled ahead Well, actually, I think Joe and Brian are 1 point ahead. So can the Wood Warriors pull another one out of the bag and make it neck and neck, or can the Gold Hunters win another one and increase their lead? Time will tell. Come over and check out. That will be 7:45 next Friday for Battle of the Makers. So hopefully we'll see you there. If not, have a great week. I'm not sure if Pete or Brian are doing lives tomorrow. I know Brian is having issues with his internet yet again. So whether Brian is doing a live or not, but if not, someone will put something up for you guys to watch. So just keep an eye out for the links. So other than that, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from Nick.
Goodbye.
Have a great weekend. Speak to you soon. Take care, and thank you
Enjoy
all
the
for
rest of
coming
your
over.
weekend.
Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.
That's all, folks.